Hey, my friend, welcome back to the Deeper Dig. I'm really glad that you're here. I want to start by naming what we're actually talking about today because I think a lot of people feel this but just don't know how to say it out loud. There are so many people who believe in God genuinely and yet carry a lot of questions that they feel ashamed of. And it's not because they stopped believing. It's most of the time because something happened, something shifted, something hurt, or God felt quieter than they expected. And instead of talking about it, they feel like they shouldn't even be thinking the question or the questions at all. So they keep showing up, they do keep serving, they keep smiling, they keep doing all of the right things, but inside there's this quiet wondering they don't feel allowed to name. If that's you, I want you to hear this first. You are not broken for feeling that way, and you're definitely not alone. A lot of us learned without anyone ever saying it directly that faith was supposed to look confident, certain, unshaken. So when questions came, especially those uncomfortable ones, we learned to push them all down because doubt started to feel like failure or weakness or something God might be disappointed in. And the fear underneath it all sounds like, if I say this out loud, will people think I don't really believe? Or even, if I admit this, will God pull away from me? So instead of talking about it, we carry it quietly. But the thing is, the question just shows up anyway. And it's usually not when life is good, but after a loss or unanswered prayers or betrayal or long seasons where God feels quieter than you thought he'd be. And the question is often really simple too, but really heavy. How do I actually know that you're real? That question isn't disrespectful, it's human. Here's something that has helped me when my faith has felt thin. And it's not emotional, but just kind of grounding. Everything that we know comes from something. A song has a writer, like a building has a builder, a story has an author. Nothing that we experience just appears out of nowhere. So one of the oldest questions that people have asked is, why is there something instead of nothing? Believing in God isn't starting with religion or rules. It's starting with the idea that there is a source, a beginning that didn't need to be created, a first cause that everything else flows from. That's not blind faith. That's a reasonable place to stand when your emotions feel shaky. And there's something else that we can't really ignore either. We don't just experience life, we experience meaning. Love feels real. Loss hurts deeply. Justice matters, kindness matters, cruelty feels wrong. And those things, they go beyond survival. Chemistry alone doesn't explain compassion. Biology doesn't explain conscience. That sense that some things actually matter points to something more than randomness. And what I love about Scripture is that it doesn't hide the struggle. The Bible is full of people who questioned, who argued, who cried out, who said things like, where are you? Faith in Scripture isn't neat. It is honest, it is relational, and it is messy. God doesn't turn away from people who ask hard questions. And faith isn't pretending you never doubt. Faith is staying in the conversation. It's bringing your questions into the light instead of burying them in shame. Because shame says, you shouldn't feel this way. But God says, come closer, let's talk. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me for questioning? Maybe the better question is, what happened in my life that made this question surface? What pain, what loss, what silence? There's wisdom there, not failure. Okay, so here's what I want you to do this week. And it is small on purpose. Take 10 minutes, one time, no pressure to do it right. Open your notes app or a journal and write this at the top. God, I want to be honest. Then, answer these 3 questions. Number 1, what am I afraid is true if God isn't real? Number 2, what happened that made this question louder? And number 3, if God is real, what do I actually want to ask him without editing myself? And when you're done, don't overthink it. Just write what you wrote back to God as your prayer. And that's it. You're not trying to solve faith in 10 minutes. You're just staying in the conversation. Okay, so here's where I'll leave you today. If God is real, and if he truly is the source of life, then he isn't threatened by your questions, my friend. He isn't offended by your honesty, and he doesn't withdraw when you wonder. Sometimes the bravest faith isn't certainty. Sometimes it's staying present, even when you're unsure. We'll keep digging gently, honestly, together. I'll see you soon. Until next time.